The Build Production module in Meter 2 Desktop provides all you'd expect from a Build Production module. It gives the opportunity to describe and quantify schedules or builds of quantities in an appropriate level of detail. So you could have a very formal SMM7 new rules of measurement style document. You could create a simple schedule of one-liners or anything in between. And the functionality we have fundamentally allows us to add rows into the screen here, into the grid, and then edit that information. So we could call this substructures, and we could say that we're excavating. Yeah, we're excavating trenches, and those trenches are not exceeding 2 meters deep, or whatever, doesn't matter, we're making that up. Before we can put a quantity in, we need a unit, so I prefer to have my unit column before my quantity at this point. Won't affect the reports, it just means that it's easier for us to type meters cubed into there. When we look at our dimension sheet here, we've now got 3 dimensions. So if we add a dimension in here, if we say that's 34 meters long, it's 0.76 wide, and it's 1.23 deep, we've got 31.78, which becomes 32 using the rounding rules. So very traditional, write it down on a piece of paper, type it into a spreadsheet. It's that same approach. There's a separate video to talk about levels and the importance of levels and how they contribute to totals elsewhere. So we can add items, we can edit them once we put them in, we can delete them by using our delete function here with a warning, we can repeat them, so we can repeat here. Oops, missed that. So let's shows how important the warnings are. Let's repeat, and there's our repeat of our items, and we could just change that to be excavating and cut away for something more meaningful. And if we wanted to, we can just move those around a bit, change the levels. So even though we're putting things in, we've got lots of control over the position and the style of the information. It's very easy to do that. And if we use our hotkey, Control R, we can repeat lots of items quickly. And just to show, we don't really need all that rubbish, do we? So we'll just delete all of those out of the way at that point. So we've got the beginnings of our structure here. It's up to the author. The author decrees how they go. There's no rules, there's no codes in that respect. We don't really want to type out. We've already seen how slow my typing is. So if we go to item templates here, we can go and use the descriptions from other parts. So we could say, let's go and get other jobs from our desktop. So let's go to the desktop. Let's go and look at example cost plans, because I know there's something in there, and we have a warehouse building ready to use, and we're just going to use the foundations and retaining wall descriptions from that building. So here they are in all their glory. What I have done here under transfer settings, I'm going to turn off the copy rates and copy quantities. I'm just using it as a very specific thing here. I'm controlling the columns that I see. So I've turned off the rates and I've turned off the quantities here, and I don't need to see them because I've turned them off. And now what I can do is I can just pick something and double click it, and it will appear immediately below the highlighter. So in our case, I put that in the wrong place. So let's just drag that down and let's start again. Excavating, foundations, so many meters. Let's type in a quantity here, and it says, hold on, if you do that, you won't have any dimensions. So we could say, no, we don't want to do that. We want to go to dim sheets here, and we can start writing in dimensions. So we've got a trench here, it's 3 meters long, but there's 3 of them. 3 3s are 9, that's our first dimension. We put some annotation in here. So that's trench line A. And there we go. That's our creation of our first dimension. Let's put another one in here, 4 4 4, whatever, just to build up our dimensional information. Back to the item templates. Now what we're saying is we're going to go down here and we're going to measure some disposal. So we could click on the individuals, or we could use an option here called all below, and it will go from here down to here. So if we do all below, it's pick those 3 items immediately. So again, we could use that if we want to do measure some granular material, making sure we've got the highlighter in the right place. Granular material, we're going to take both of those items, right mouse, all below, down to there. The other way to use this is to think, okay, how do I build this level without going one at a time? If I just want to measure these 150 thick slabs here, again, make sure your cursor's in the right place, 150 slab. If I do all above, I'll get the 150 thick beds, all the way up to the top. That one might not be appropriate, so we can just go into that. We could edit it to change it, or we could just right mouse and delete it. Lots of flexibility in bringing that information across very quickly to bring things across into the bill and edit them. We have every control over them. We can mix and match, so we could take some information from a different template here. We could go again to our desktop. We could go into an estimate, for instance. Let's go and find an estimate. Let's go to the fire station, and we'll just pick the substructures out of the fire station here. Again, down here, let's go and pick something. Disposal of excavating material. Why don't we have that? So right mouse, yeah, and then we can do our all above, all below. Okay, let's check our transfer first of all. Transfer settings. There, no rates, no quantities. Right mouse, all below, and there's our disposal, quickly measured. But what we're doing now is we're referring to the warehouse building and to the fire station for our descriptions. So one could be a formal New Rules of Measurement SMM7 library. One could be a job similar to the one you've just built. That famous designer's statement, just put in what you had last time, gives us the opportunity to go to previous jobs and extract the information. But we're beginning to build quite a traditional layout of bills of quants. So very simple, describe, quantify, price will be done elsewhere in the system in terms of putting on rates, direct entry rates, or just putting on detailed resources and trade packages. But to complete the describe, quantify, price mantra, we have to have a describe and we have to have a quantify to use that. So that's a brief introduction to bill production and its purpose. There's several other videos now to describe in detail the different functionality that's available to help with this bill production process.